Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Appreciate everybody logging in today and appreciate our panelists, state sponsors, and our committee members. And thank you, Bob, for all your work behind the scenes. I want to introduce Russ Reeves from Rockwall. He's our host today. In normal setting, we would be in person, but we still want to recognize the host, and we look forward to the day when we can come back in person and meet and play golf afterwards. But Russ, please jump on and say a few words.
Well, kind of like you said, I wish we were at the golf course today because it's pretty nice outside. So I think I would have felt a little bit better about this if it was raining outside. But other than that, I'm glad that we can still get together. But I look forward to the days that you guys can come back out here and we can pick up where we've left off.
Agree. Thank you. Appreciate that. At this time, I want to introduce our state sponsors. We'll start with Nevco and Troy Burns.
How are you? Do you want me to go ahead and present?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I want to say first that I appreciate the opportunity, and we've been a state sponsor for quite some time now. We always appreciate the opportunity to speak to everyone about our products and services. I'm gonna share my screen. I have a very short presentation that I put together. And if anybody has any questions about anything, just jump in and let me know. If anybody doesn't know what Nevco is, we're a scoreboard and video display manufacturer and supplier for the United States. Probably the oldest scoreboard company in the world that we know of. Some of you know us, and if you don't know us, we would like to get to know you. But if you have any projects you're working on, again, just let us know. We'd be glad to help. We have representation in Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and I'm the statewide manager. I handle large venue video displays and really anything else that's custom. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen and just go over a couple things. Let's see. Hopefully I can do this right. I did it earlier in practice. Let's see, pull it up. Okay, we should have a full screen now. So I'm the Texas Regional Sales Manager. I've been in this business for over 40 years. I have extensive design and consulting experience. One of the things that I do and that I specialize in is the large venue projects where we design from the ground up for video systems, cameras, replay, control rooms, audio integration, everything. And that's just an introduction page on that. That stadium that's shown in that picture is Seguin. We did that a couple of years ago when they renovated their stadium. So with over 85 years of experience, we've been doing scoreboards quite a while. We have scoreboards, we have marquees, we have score tables, you know, from the smallest basketball scoreboard to the largest custom size display that you can imagine. We can do them all. Proudly owned and operated in the United States. We have really good lead times. This COVID situation, of course, it hurt everyone, but one thing that it didn't do is hurt our lead times. We're still able to produce at the same lead times we've always been able to, which is kind of astounding, but we're still there. These are just some projects that we've done. I'm highlighting some of the larger projects that we've done, but please keep in mind we do everything. We do the smallest to the largest. We did New Caney, Seguin, Galena Park, Dickinson, Carthage, Clear Creek. All of those jobs, if you're familiar with them, are kind of in the southeast sector of the state, with the exception of Carthage and Seguin. Recently finished Del Valle, just outside of Austin, which was one of our larger projects, Turner Stadium at Humble, and we completed Channelview this year also. Again, these are all design build, with the exception of Humble. We replaced an existing setup there from a competitor. So what we do whenever you work with us is we typically come on site and assess the facility. I'm not going to go through all the bullet points, but I'm going to get the highlights here. We assess what you need, make some recommendations to you. Talk about, can we use your existing structure or modify it to fit? A lot of times on football, baseball, and softball, we try to use the existing structure if possible. If not, we recommend modifications or a new structure. We offer on-site installation and service throughout the state of Texas. We can get creative on payment terms if we need to. We're a buy board vendor. Typically, 90% of what we do is purchased on buy board. We still, even at that, can do payment terms if that's necessary. We have a sports marketing division that will help market the product. We have done some marketing to sell scoreboards. We typically get involved in aiding the sports marketing part and not doing it ourselves because we're really a scoreboard company and not a marketing firm. But we do have a marketing arm that we can get involved if that's necessary. Again, our lead times are probably the fastest in the industry. We're still good for 2020 and 2021 coming up. Our pricing is always fair and competitive with everyone else in the market. We have regional. These are some of the regional people. I'm over the entire state of Texas as the sales manager. We do have a gentleman that handles the northeast sector. That would be Dallas Metroplex all the way down to Waco. It's a big area. Southeast Texas is covered by Daniel Ware, and my boss at the factory is Eric Light, and he and I stay in communication pretty often about what's going on and what we need to do. He also gets involved whenever we're having a product presentation, sometimes on a larger venue. He will come in and we will talk about that together because he is directly from the factory. And with that, if there's any questions, like I said, I didn't want to take up a lot of time. If you're working on projects that you need quotations or design work or consultation or anything, just let us know. That's what we do. And other than that, I appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate your support of our organization. Now we'll turn it over to LPA Design Studios and Arash Izadi.
Well, good morning. Thank you, as was mentioned earlier, thank you for giving us this opportunity to get in front of you guys. We actually, ironically, we love these virtual ones because we seem to get a little more reach here. Before, people would have to get in their cars and drive to a site. Now you go into your office or your bedroom or dining room or wherever you might be, and wherever your kids aren't in school, and you click a couple buttons and you're in your meeting. So thanks for everyone that joined us today. I'm going to share my screen and I'll try to make this as brief as possible for you, because I know you've got more important things to do here. All right, well, if you're not familiar with us, LPA is a architectural engineering design firm. The majority of our work is education-based, both high school and collegiate. My name is Arash Izadi. I'm Director of Sport and Recreation for the firm, a principal with LPA. And my single and only responsibility in the company is to oversee our sports portfolio and to really service everyone on this call. And some of you guys are our clients, and thank you for that. So there's three key people that I'd like to introduce you to. A couple of them are on the call as well. Sarah Flowers is our studio director in our San Antonio office, and Craig Drone is our studio director in our Dallas office. Those are our two key Texas offices, but we do have offices all over the country, but I know that's probably irrelevant. So if you do need anything and you ever need to reach out to any of us, the three of us could service you and help in any way. One of our core businesses is really the sports market. It's why I still have a job with LPA. Done over 250 sports and recreation projects of all types. This is ranging from professional facilities. I won't name the teams because they're not Texas teams, unfortunately, but sports, professional sports for both everything from MLS to NHL to the NFL. We're number 10 design firm in the sports market, according to Engineering News and Records in 2019. We've done over 40 stadiums, over 40 aquatic facilities. These numbers probably need to be updated because every couple months they tick up a couple. But over 10 million square feet of synthetic turf, and we are not new to this market. We've been in business for 54 years. I think we've been in Texas for over 30 years, and about 400 people within the firm. So we have the capacity really to handle any kind of size of projects. Some of our expertise and services that we, on our sports side that we deal with is stadiums, track and field, synthetic and natural turf consultation, aquatic facilities, outdoor, indoor natatoriums, all sorts, gymnasiums, PE complexes, indoor sports complexes, even on the collegiate side, rec centers and all of those kinds of kinesiology facilities and so on. So really anything that has to do with sports, we pretty much have covered. Give you a little bit of a sampling of some of the work all over. Everything from stadium renovations, baseball, softball facilities, press boxes, bleachers, and again, looking at everything from collegiate to high school and elementary school, middle school, any of those. A couple key projects to point out here: the Carroll Senior High School project. I saw Steve Kiesler was on the call here, so that's his home there. Alamo Heights in the San Antonio area, we're wrapping up that project. That's an interesting project because it actually was a stadium and a grandstand that was built around an existing building. So we sort of encased that whole project with another project. Kind of an engineering challenge, but we were able to pull it off. Here's an image of the Carroll Senior High School baseball and softball complex that we just finished this last year. We actually wound up doing their entire athletic program there, from their regular high school to the senior high school, indoor, outdoor, you name it. Aquatic facilities, probably done more aquatic facilities this last few years than the whole portfolio. I think aquatic facilities have reached that lifetime. We see this trend where things sort of come and go. And I think every aquatic facility has reached that age right now. So people are either renovating or replacing. So everything from outdoor facilities to indoor facilities to combined joint use facilities that include both cities and school districts, all of those kinds, private, public, you name it. And this is one that's under construction right now. It's the Alamo Heights indoor sports, the indoor natatorium facility, envisioned originally as a 64-meter with twin bulkheads. A little more modest now, but that was the original program of the project. So really just to wrap this up and take my, wrap up my couple minutes of glory here, ultimately what we're proud of is that we listen. We partner with school districts. We truly believe that this is a collaboration. This isn't our vision, it's your vision, and our job is really to help you achieve that. So we partner with you. We're innovative. If you aren't aware of us, happy to share that and really share what that means. And ultimately, the bread's in the pudding, right? We deliver what we do. So thank you again. Thank you everyone for, again, those couple minutes, and happy to answer any questions or discuss any projects you might have. Thank you again.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Next, from Phil Turf, we have Chris Patton.
Thank you, Leslie. First, I'd just like to thank Bob for the work you do at the association on behalf of coaches and ADs and really school districts, communities, kids across the state. Leslie, thank you for what you do in leading this group. Russ, thank you for hosting here. I just want to say that I've lived in Region 3 for 25 years. I've worked with a couple of you. Leslie, I was still a junior high coach when you were coaching volleyball at Richardson. Russ, I worked for you for a few months in there as well. I started out coaching in Richardson ISD. I've coached in Garland ISD and taught in Rockwall as well. My children went to school in Richardson. My wife was a director in Richardson for many years, and recently, last January, I went to work in Frisco ISD as a director there. So I've got a lot of connections here. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to address this group. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for the work you do as a coach and a teacher. I was always drawn to it for the opportunity to help young men and women become grown men and women. And a wise man once told me that, you know, a university is to train up engineers and doctors and lawyers, and the coaching staff is to train up better husbands and wives and mothers and fathers and citizens. So thank you for all the work that you do. I'm not going to take much more time. I did want to say I've had my eye on some of the bond elections. I know that athletics kind of took a hit in some of those. I wanted to make you aware that we've got a program in place right now. We've got 0% financing on turf only. So a removal and replacement job we could finance at no percentage to the district. If it's a new construction, we could finance the construction side of it on very favorable terms and still finance the turf at 0%. So if that's of any benefit to all of you, I've plugged in my contact information over there on the chat side of it. If you need me, I'd be anxious to respond to you. Again, Bob, Leslie, Russ, and all of you, thank you for what you do, and I'll wrap it up right there.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you to all our state sponsors today. We appreciate your support of our organization, and just really appreciate you taking time and everything you do for us on a day-to-day basis, monthly and yearly. So thank you for that. We'll move into committee reports, and we'll start with membership with Valerie.
Individual and group memberships are still available on our website. We have already 1,000 people that have paid. Woohoo, that's exciting. So if you haven't, make sure you get on and pay for your membership renewal. If you have any questions about that, you can always contact Allie. If you are not getting the THSADA emails, make sure you check your spam folder. We got a lot of school districts that will block that, or their email server will block it. And then if you have received an email from Allie or THSADA services about your mailing address, please try to respond as soon as possible. They're trying to get all that updated so that they've got all the correct info. And then the last thing I want to talk about is we've had a few people over really the last couple of weeks, and it even happened with Bob at other regional meetings, and they asked, what are the benefits of becoming a member? So on our website, there is a great page on the THSADA website. It's under About Us and then Membership and Benefits, and it literally will list all of the events we do, the professional development opportunities, networking opportunities, resources, and then our types of membership. So if anyone is curious about that, you can reach out to me and I'll be happy to send that to you, or just direct them to that website.
Great, thank you, Val.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll move on to TAC with Jerry Littlejohn.
All right, first of all, it's great to see all y'all's faces. It was funny when I first got on. I thought, man, it's great to see some people I haven't seen in a while. I wish it was in person. I'm going to talk real quick about the TAC agenda. Bob and Rusty and Johanna and staff, they put together a great agenda for us. December the 7th through the 10th. Each day there will be a live portion from about 8:45 to 10 in the morning. And it will include dignitaries like Rusty Dowling, Dr. Elza, Dr. Harrison, Dr. Brydup, Mike Morath from the Commissioner of Education. So all of those will be part of the live portion on one of those days. And then each day we will have pre-recorded sessions from at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. And I think this agenda, the way it's set up, is going to give us a lot of flexibility to not necessarily be at things all day long, and we can do our jobs, but also get educated as well. But I think it's a great agenda. There are 12 total TAC courses throughout the course of the 4 days that we can access. And then at the end of each day, folks can go in and go to the THSADA professional library and view the ones that they missed. So there is that opportunity too, if you're dealing with some COVID issues or whatever it might be during that day. Last thing is that for a few weeks after the state conference, attendees will be able to go back and view any of the sessions that they missed through the professional library. All right, it's great to see all y'all, and I look forward to seeing y'all in person in the near future.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay, publications, Grace.
Hi, everybody. Newsletter has gone to print, and it'll be sent out around the time of our December virtual state conference. Big thank you to those of you who shared information with me for our contribution to that newsletter.
Great, thank you. Okay, NIAAA with Lisa and Stacy.
Hi, everyone. Lisa, I'll start. And then you
Yeah,
can
go ahead.
finish up.
Thanks.
Just want to let you guys know that the national conference will be held December the 11th through the 14th. I will be on demand January the 15th. We're going to be offering 51 LTI courses through December the 10th, able to be purchased through registration. And to be able to take those classes, you will have to register for the conference. Same thing at your run-of-the-mill conference meeting. You'll be able to take the training courses from any location, live chat with workshop speakers, visit the exhibit hall, plus watch on-demand sessions as they conclude in case you've missed anything. So the deadline, I believe, to register, participate in the conference is December the 4th. And I think the last day to pay with the school check is November the 20th.
And I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but Stacy is on the national faculty. Stacy, what course do you teach? I think she's frozen up, or am I frozen up?
LTC 640.
Okay. Okay, 640. Okay. All right. Just a couple other things. Being a member of the NIAAA, being on a national level gives us opportunity sometime. And so I wanted to just give a quick kudos to two of our region individuals, and hopefully I'm not missing someone. But first I want to say kudos to Dr. Salinas from Dallas ISD. She and I were just on a webinar a little while ago, and she represented the state of Texas and our state organization very well. It was on the duality of women of color as athletic administrators. So she did a fabulous job in representing us. And I may have missed some other people on this one, but I believe it was last week we had the AD Insider did the National All Sports Coaches Summit. And Phil O'Neill did a fabulous job again of representing our state with a couple of presentations. And I may have missed some other people on that. So again, kudos to our people who are stepping out and are leading outside of our state as well. Just one thing to kind of put on your mind, the NIAAA Student Essay Scholarship winners. I become the board, the president of NIAAA at the end of this virtual conference. And one thing that I would love to be able to do in December of 2021 is to present the Student Scholarship Award to someone who's from Texas. And with everything that's going on with COVID, I know that we have some student athletes that could write a fabulous essay, one-page essay about how athletics has impacted their lives during this COVID time. So just start thinking about what student athlete at one of your campuses might be a great candidate to submit an application, and we'll get more information about the application process, I'm sure, in our December state conference. At least if not, the information comes from Brenda Marshall down in Corpus Christi. So that's all I have to share. Just make sure you join us for the national conference. It should be fun.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to awards with Russ.
Okay, just like everyone else, I'll be quick. We'll do the 3 Hall of Honor recipients, Bubba Williams, Marmion Dambrino, and Dr. Brydup, and we've moved that to Round Rock at the Kalahari Resort in June. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. So that's where we are on those. The other awards, the Regional Athletic Director of the Year, the National Awards, the Joe Bill Fox Award, the PBK AD of the Year Award, all will be presented at the newest professional development opportunity that the association has begun, and that'll be at the spring sponsor showcase. So there'll be more information to follow with that, but that's about it for awards.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to policy. Sylvia.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Langston, for the shout out. Appreciate that. No updates on policy, other than from the October Legislative Council. Just a real quick review that esports was going to be a continue to monitor. The amendment for full-time day student, to alter the full-time day student was rejected. No pass, no play rule. There was no action taken on that because it's a state law. The request to add space teams to the STEM competitions, they took no action on that. And then the request to add LEP kids, limited English proficiency kids, to the overage student waiver, that was denied. And I think that was it.
All right, thank you. And athletic update, Becky?
Well, I really don't have an update. We have not received anything from our chairs, so just say hello to everybody. And if there is anything you want the athletic committee to look into, just send me an email and we will forward it and discuss it.
Great, thank you. Okay, and regional business, want to congratulate Highland Park and Johnny Ringo and his coaches and athletes on state championship in team tennis. Want to wish all of our cross-country teams and individual runners good luck at state. And then want to wish our volleyball teams the best of luck as they head into the playoffs as far as 5A and 6A, and then 4A and below as they continue in football and volleyball. So good luck to all our teams. I know we'll represent Region 3 really, really well. I want to move on to our reflection topic now. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I even bounced this question off with some of my colleagues that are on this call. And I thought to myself, do we need to talk about something other than COVID? And it's really hard to talk about something other than COVID in a reflection topic because it's what we do all day long. And so I look forward to the day where that's not our focus, but that's the world we live in right now. It consumes almost every decision we make. And our number one priority is to keep our coaches and our kids safe. And so that will be our topic again today, but I sure look forward to the day where we're talking about anything except COVID. I'm going to ask our committee members as far as just sharing their thoughts. Please jump in. We've got great panelists today that are from our committee, and just really want your feedback on, as we transition into the playoffs for football and volleyball, as well as the start of basketball season, what policies or procedures have you changed within your athletic program dealing with COVID? And would just love to open it up to this panel for discussion. Sure, Val.
So Leslie, I'll tell you what, now that we are moving into playoffs with volleyball, you know, football's not there yet, but they have actually isolated themselves even more as a team. You know, we obviously had staggered locker room times, staggered practice times, all that beforehand. But now those kids don't even eat lunch in the cafeteria with other kids. I mean, they will isolate themselves and they will either come down and we let them eat in a gym. We let our entire football team go eat in the indoor, because they just don't want to be around other kids and risk it. And they're not trying to be elitist, right? They're not trying to pull themselves away. It's just what they feel like they have to do to protect their seasons. We've even had we had a popular kid, right, try to have like a homecoming thing this past weekend, and none of them would go, because what we keep finding is that the sleepover or the, you know, happy hour their parents went to, that's where they're getting COVID. It's not from our schools. So our teams that think they have a really good shot at a long run in playoffs, they're isolating themselves even more. The kids themselves, not any processes and policies the coaches are doing, but they are just pulling themselves away to try to protect themselves.
That's great. Thank you. Anyone else? Russ?
We we just reduced our seating capacity inside to all indoor events to 25%. And what we do is I watch our county dashboard, and as the cases start to rise and stuff, then I start communicating with my superintendent. And after we saw the cases rise as much as we have seen the last couple of weeks, we felt it was necessary to do that. So the good thing is that the way we've had it set up is we've only allowed participant family members to come, and all we had to do was reduce the number of tickets that we gave them. So we would give every kid 4 tickets. Now it's down to 2. So that's how we're controlling it. And then if the numbers start to drop, then we can add the 4 tickets and get back to 50%. But surprisingly, knock on wood, I haven't gotten one phone call or one email saying that was a bad decision, which kind of scares me. So,
Yeah, they're coming, Russ.
They're coming. Somebody's coming out of the woodworks. But anyway, those are some things that we've done with basketball right now, and it seems to be working okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Stacy?
Yeah, I'll let Dr. Salinas also jump on here as we add in, but same thing kind of as Russ did in Rockwall. We revisited our fall guidelines and went into a winter sport guidelines, as well as our number of tickets sold as well. So where we were selling tickets for football, same thing with basketball, limiting those capacities to players and coaches. And we do follow the Dallas County levels as far as their red, orange, and yellow. So our capacities will change if Dallas County changes, but we just try to do what we could to communicate that to all parties. But that's going to be a big change for us, but everybody's on the same page with that.
Great. Sylvia, anything else you wanted to add to that?
We're actually, in case anybody hadn't watched the news, but we're doing testing. That started, I think, with 1 or 2 of our schools this past week. What's today, Wednesday? This week. So yeah, we're gonna look at that. It's y'all want more about that, we'd be glad to share anything we have. I know some of you reached out about that, so definitely wanted to let you know that. It's not specific only to athletes, so it's just in general. But we are looking at doing some different things, or looking at we have meetings like after this and through the rest of the week, but considering doing some different things upon our return from the holiday. That's just not set in stone yet, but once it is, we'll share with the appropriate districts that will be affected.
Well, and I'll add on to that too. In Richardson ISD, after Thanksgiving, or probably it could be even into December, like mid-December, we're looking at testing, but not just athletes. It would be open to symptomatic kids and staff first. And of course, you have to have parent consent. And so that's something that our health services is looking into. But we will see. They're really ironing out all the details there. And then another thing that we did, we have limited student sections, because we were trying to do that ourselves and police that. And it was like herding cats, trying to get kids to social distance. And so now when you enter our athletic events, you must enter with an adult and sit with an adult. And so that has helped tremendously. So that's a change we made a couple of weeks ago that will carry on into basketball. Anybody else, anything else that's different that we haven't talked about, Grace?
We did the exact same thing, Leslie, with communicating to our principals at our campuses that they could not allow students to enter, even if with a ticket, that they would have to come in with an adult. And I think that's a great idea. We changed our scheduling a lot as far as different sports and stuff. Like everybody, mid-season, we had to make some policy changes for volleyball, obviously for football. But going into basketball, we have got a backup plan to a backup plan to a backup plan. I mean, we structured the schedule to where we're going to try to get a full round in. And of course, our goal is to have a full district schedule, but we've arranged it to where if we have to cut off games, we can just cut it back to a zone type schedule and base our representatives on that. And then if we can't even complete zone play, we have got a policy in place to be able to identify what we want to do if we only complete one round, and also if we can't even complete a round. you know, it's about to get crazy, I think, with basketball coming up. And we just got an email from North Texas basketball's officials chapter that they, you know, they've already got 30 officials out. They're already short about 100 officials. You know, we may have to pivot and change the days we play on. You know, we may have to look at Wednesday, Saturday, or something crazy. But so being ready to adjust that. Also, what we learned from volleyball is that we don't need to be making up multiple games every week. There was times we were lucky in volleyball. I think we ended up finishing 86 of our 90 district ball games. But I don't know that that'll happen in basketball. And that was with them sometimes playing 4 or 5 games a week. And that's just too hard on kids and coaches. So we're limiting the number of makeup games they can have per week. And if we don't finish the full schedule, then we make those adjustments that I just mentioned. So that's been the big changes, I think, just trying to plan ahead for those disruptions and issues for us.
Great, thank you. It was very good. Anybody else? Anything else?
Leslie, the only thing we did a little bit different on the student section, now I'm talking basketball and volleyball. We didn't make them come with a parent, but we only have X number of seats that are marked off. And we give the principal that many seats, and no other student tickets can go off. They can't purchase them. That's the only tickets available. And our principals do a good job of keeping the kids separated. But, you know, I think depending on where you are, you have some parents that can't come to games, and we didn't want to say no to students. So we just simply limited the number of tickets that the principal can give out. And then it's his responsibility to keep them separated. And they've done a good job of doing that. We also, our facility seats quite a few people, but we started off at 25%, and we're going to stay there in the basketball facility. And, you know, we're doing pretty good there. The other thing really doesn't have anything to do with change, but I just want to remind all of us, and I know we try to do a good job of this, but, you know, I find myself emailing the coaches and saying, hey guys, don't forget your rules are this, don't forget your rules are this. But we just also have to remember to send them that occasional email of, hey guys, you guys are doing a heck of a job, because a lot of our emails come correcting things that they might have done or that they forgot about. We got to also remember to praise them for all the hours and the things that they're doing to keep our kids safe. So I'm just going to challenge everybody to do that because our coaches and teachers need to hear that now.
I think that's a great point, Becky. I know everybody's in this situation. I'm worried about our coaches from just their mental health, and just, are they really taking care of themselves as they try to take care of our athletes and take care of their families? We've got multiple coaches out on quarantine. They're coaching 2 and 3 teams. They're handling before school practice, after school practice, plus they're co-seating and teaching. And it's just, their plate is just, it's overrunning. I mean, it's just what we're asking them to do is just unbelievable. And most of them are just, they're killing it. They're following through, and we're finishing seasons, and it doesn't look like it did last year, but we're just figuring out a way to still power through and get through it. But I think, Becky, thank you for that reminder. We have to check on our coaches. We have to address things when we're not following protocol, but we also need to encourage, and we need to encourage each other, because I know that everybody on here is carrying a huge load, and there's not a lot of thank yous and pats on the back. There's a lot of questioning, a lot of people on either end of the spectrum. We keep saying we can't win. I mean, you just can't win. Whatever decision you make, there's somebody on one side of it getting ready to just blast you for making that decision. But I appreciate all those comments. The other thing that I wanted to ask is somebody emailed me this question. I thought it was a great question. If y'all could share with the group, is anyone doing anything different to celebrate kids that you could share in the middle of a pandemic, where we're not having the typical banquet, you're not having the typical team dinner, celebrate starting the playoffs? Is there anything that y'all have heard of you really like that some of your coaches are doing that's just different due to the pandemic?
The only thing I've heard of from team dinners is that one time we had one planned right at the beginning, and we came in and we're like, hey, we're not doing this. And they ended up doing a drive-through where the moms had boxed them up in like to-go containers. And so they did a drive-through and gave the kids the food. That was not a normal thing. It was just because they had planned it without. So it's not something they do every week, but that's the only thing I've heard of.
Right. Yeah. And same with us. I mean, we're doing food differently, like pickup, and everything's prepackaged. It just doesn't look the same, but trying to still recognize kids, whether it's on Zoom, you know, whatever it may be. But we still have coaches holding out, wanting to have your normal banquet and your normal team dinner. And we have to remind them there's nothing normal right now. We have parents that still want us to tailgate and do run through tunnels and do all this stuff we've always done. And we can't do that. We cannot do that. So yeah, anyone else have anything that you feel like you've kind of substituted because we can't do what's normal?
We're trying to, with our social media and stuff, and actually we're using some of it as marketing. We're getting sponsors for us to be able to highlight. I mean, we can do it without sponsors. It's just a way to raise revenue, but you know, highlight individuals and try to point them out. And then sometimes our communication team will go out and interview them and things like that. So that's something that we're doing to try to kind of, you know, give them something a little different.
Great. And I see Coach Lincoln jumped on. Charles, are you there? Oh, I thought he was there. He was going to share with us. Give him just a second.
There he goes.
Hey, Charles.
Yes. Hey, how's everybody?
We're great. Would love for you to share what's going on in Crowley.
Well, we're prayerful every day and thankful. Each day we try to talk about the importance of what we do and can share for our kids. Well, just this week, our district made a decision based on the numbers and the recommendation from Tarrant County Public Health. We just decided to have our indoor events be fan only. And we thought we would just get blasted by that. But our superintendent did a great job of using that in concert with us going virtual for the next few days. And so we have postponed our middle school activities to athletic periods only. And with our indoor events like basketball, and I'll just say that since that's in season, we just participate without any fans, similar to that just got completed. And with our football, because it's an outdoor event, we're still allowing at varsity football games using the protocols that we've had in place. We started out with 35% and just monitor that, and it's worked really well with us. And then with our sub-varsity football, we're not allowing any fans. Again, we thought we'd get a lot of heartburn behind that from the athletic of calls and communications to the athletic department, but actually we have not. We've gotten a lot of positives on our social media, and so and again after the Thanksgiving holiday, we will be monitoring that on a weekly basis to see if we want to return back to some sort of normalcy.
Great, Charles. Thank you. Appreciate you jumping on and sharing that.
Appreciate you guys, and be blessed.
Definitely. Anyone else? Anything else you feel like would help the group that we want to share? Definitely challenging. And I want to add one thing. I'm sure all of you have thought about this, but as we get into hosting playoff games and playing at a neutral site, be sure and have the conversations about with the opposing AD, what are we doing about students? Because I'm giving my deputy superintendent, assistant superintendent that I report to a heads up that I know they don't want us to change our rules. So when we go play somewhere and we play someone, if we walk in and they've got a huge student section and our kids are having to sit with an adult and it's not a true student section and it looks different, I just want to make sure we get out in front of that and that there's no surprises, that it's not going to look different for us just because it's playoffs. So I think that just maybe something I know that in our office we were talking about today that I'm sure all of you have thought about. And then the other thing for volleyball playoffs, just the fact that if you have a team that keeps winning, you're going to play twice over Thanksgiving week. and just trying to find sites. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of home and home, possibly trying to get people to host and find workers over Thanksgiving. So good luck to all of us who will be in that situation. It's sometimes a good problem to have because it means you're winning, but good luck as we prepare for that. So Bob, I'll turn it over to you for state business.
Very good. Thank you, Leslie. So I've got a couple of messages today, and I've got some first three, probably they're difficult topics to discuss, but they're important ones for us to consider. I'm hearing from around the state that that budgets for the next year or two may be significantly impacted by what y'all are enduring right now. So are y'all getting any heads up from your CFOs or your bosses about what you can expect for next year and the year after that? It's not good, is it? Is it like, I'm hearing like 15, 20, or even 30% in some areas. Is that what you're hearing too?
Bob, yesterday we got a report from our CFO, and his original report was it was going to be 20%, but he said on his meeting yesterday that they thought it would be closer to 15. Not that that's not going to hit us really hard, but that's the report he gave us yesterday.
Anybody else want to add to that? You know, I think even though this is a different place this year, we know when our CFOs begin reporting the doom and gloom for the upcoming year, it always sounds terrible this time of year and in the early spring, and it tends to get better. Of course, this year may be entirely different because of what we're facing financially across the state. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for you guys that improves a little bit. The next one is regarding student travel and adult travel. I don't think anybody's allowing overnight travel for students. Is that correct?
Well, Bob, I will address that. We are, if it means competing at the next level. So our cross-country kids went to Lubbock, but that's because you have to go to Lubbock to try to get to state. So we're not taking field trips. It has to be something that's necessary in UIL in order to advance.
Very good. Okay, that seems very fair. And then on the adult level, what I'm hearing around the state also is that for at least for the time being, all adult travel, like if we were having our conference in December, or you wanted to go somewhere like the baseball clinic in January, that's not happening right now. Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
And then the last one, before I get into just the announcements, there's going to be a bill introduced. It's already been turned in regarding homeschool and their ability to play in athletics for youth. I see that as a bigger issue this year than in the past, because parents have convinced themselves that they are doing homeschool when we do the virtual school. Even though virtual school is tied to your district, parents are getting the feeling that this is homeschool. So I think there's going to be, sadly, more momentum for that across the state because so many people have done something very similar to homeschool. So that's been a discussion with any of you guys. It doesn't come up until January in the spring, but we need to be prepared for that. So any comments on that? So I just hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Kirkendall, you've been very quiet. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I don't want it. End of story. No, we got the same thing that Rusty sent out to us, and I sent it over there to my boss in the administration, so they're alerted to it a little bit. I don't think we're for that in Frisco, but it's just like you said. I think that people think that they're doing it right now, and so they weren't trying to make a connection there. We just got to make sure they understand, because we could be still doing this again next year. You know, this virtual stuff. So we got to maintain the separation of what's virtual and what's homeschool, I think.
So Russ, when he was doing the awards report, he talked a little bit about the a new event that, if we get to have it, would be called the Spring Sponsor Showcase. Very similar to the Fall Forum we had about 1.5 years ago, but a new opportunity for us. We're planning it to hope to be able to give most of our awards out then, and also do some TAC classes, and then have a UIL update. There's nothing in the tea leaves right now that says that's going to happen. We're going to plan for it. You don't need to worry about it yet. We're going to announce things as things improve. Hopefully they will when the vaccine comes out in hopefully the next month. So the goal for that event is to be a 2.5-day event in early March. You just kind of put that on your calendar for if it can happen. It may end up being another virtual event. That's okay too. Both of those events, if we get to have them in person, will be at the new conference center in Round Rock called the Kalahari. So it's a really unique place to have a conference, and I think you'll enjoy it. And the last time I suggested you could bring your families, and Val shook her head. I won't say which way she shook her head, but that wasn't her intent to do that, I don't think. Registration for the conference is still available. You probably are aware that it was shut down for a week or so. We talked about it in the office and decided that a lot of you, since you can't attend it in person, you might not decide until the day of the conference or the day after it starts that you want to take part in those videos. So that's going to stay up throughout the entire length of the conference. And if you pay your registration fee, you'll be able to watch those videos whenever you want. And like Russ said, there'll be some apparently live broadcasts every day, Monday through Thursday, but then everything will go in the library for probably several weeks or months for you guys to be able to view those things when you get a chance to catch up a little bit. The next thing, or last thing really, is the thing that I'm most aware of when I watch these meetings is you guys have been able to kind of, I call it compartmentalize your jobs. When this all started, it was an emotional roller coaster for all of us. And as human beings, we can't deal with life like that. So you've been able to just control what you can control. The things you can't control, we learn to deal with. And you're an example for your coaches in your communities about staying level and just taking one day at a time. So my only advice for you, I don't know if I'm equipped to even give advice because you've known me for a long time, but that this does take a mental toll on all of you, on all of us, more you than me. So find some time just to kind of escape it for 15, 20 minutes or an hour every day or so, whether that's the heavy bag you got hanging up in your garage, or it's the run around the block to burn off some steam, or playing golf, or like Russ might have an adult beverage or two, I don't know. But whatever it takes that you need, just make sure you take care of yourself too. That's all I got, Leslie. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. And I agree. And I think we all tell our coaches, make sure they're taking care of themselves and take care of their family, but we have to take care of ourselves too. So I completely agree. Self-care is important. This is challenging and it's hard, but I truly believe one day we're going to be sitting around in person and talk about, remember 2020 when we were dealing with this, this, and this. I would give anything for us to be dealing with normal problems right now, but we will get to a point where we get to be together and we have that networking and that fellowship, and we're just going to appreciate it even more. So we're going to get through this. It's just not going to be easy. And we do have to take it one day at a time, and appreciate all of you, our panelists, Bob, for your leadership, our state sponsors, and everybody on this call today. Really appreciate you just logging in and being a part of this great region, and can't wait till we can be together in person. So enjoy some time with family. I hope you get a little bit of downtime over Thanksgiving, and just stay healthy. And then we'll see you back in January 20th. Mansfield's hosting. So we'll have the great Philip O'Neill, and unfortunately that'll have to be by Zoom again, but it will be good to see everybody. Just stay safe and stay healthy, and thanks for all you do.
Thanks.